Hello, cats and kittens. Hola, Jose Yoroshko, and this is the second to the last of the video commentaries on the Intrepid Heroes and Villains story arc. We got one more after this, and that completes the arc. And I'm not giving away any more video commentaries until the next arc is completed. So there's that. Anyway, let's get on to it. We are at Intrepid issue 6, Heroes and Villains. This is Resurrection. The title is Resurrection. And it speaks to the whole finding and saving Nadia thing, where she's currently in straight, killer bot mode. Can she be rescued and brought back to her senses? So far, the rescue mission has been a bit of a failure because she's going on a rampage and is running through soldiers and superheroes, as you've seen in the last video. If not, check out the last video and then you'll be caught up. So it ends with a cliffhanger from issue 5, where we believe Vincent to be blown up in the wreckage of the air vehicle fighter, what you call them? It was a stealth bomber type, actually, that he was flying and attacking Nadia with in an effort to save his daughter. Nadia got to drop on him with her, heat vision or whatever. Let's say heat vision. She has optic blasts. Where they come from, don't worry about it. Anyway, so she hit the plane with the optic blast and it blows up. And that was the cliffhanger from issue 5. This issue as a whole, the chapter itself is a source of pride and regret for me, for which I'm glad there's an issue 7 to help clean everything up, because it was hit and miss, admittedly. I love Monto's artwork, first of all. He even got these vertical panels, which are interesting to me. And, not exactly what I asked for, but sometimes when you get what you don't ask for, it still works out. Anyway, just looking at this, you have the opening panel of the plane, being blown up. The fake, the little fake out where everybody thinks Vincent's dead, but of course he's not. Because this is the prequel to the series. So if he's a regular in the series, then he can't be dead before the series starts. Well, actually, it'd have been gangster to kill him off before the series starts. There'd just be 4 of them. There'll be, what? Yeah, technically it'd be 4. But anyway, that didn't happen. So Annabella, she's clearly upset. And then we see, Nadia is still hanging there in the air, looking menacingly down on them, which cheeses her off because she figured, her father's been killed. So she's out for blood at this point. Even though Annabelle is not even a bloodlusted person, when your people get took out, more likely you're gonna go off. So we get that, which culminates in this double spread. Minimize myself over here, which I think is awesome. She lets loose and I don't know, a Kamehameha on Nadia with the intent to kill her. And, again, out of a broken heart. Bella's not a killer. She's not. In her right mind, she would not go as far as to try to eliminate somebody, scratch them permanently from the, lineup. But in her desperation and her broken heart, she just lets loose the best that she can. And soldiers and everything is just getting blown away. It's like some Conquerors hockey joint. The clouds is being split. I mean, Bartos did me proud on this. I love it. Like I said, I can't remember exactly what I asked him for, but I just wanted something that just looked awesome. A awesome burst of energy, and she just lets her have it. Okay, that's cool. Now we get these vertical panels again where she falls from the sky. Bella, that is, she falls from the sky. And, she assumes that she got rid of Nadia and the whole thing's over within 2, 3 pages. You figure the story is over, but clearly it's not. And on top of that, if she had destroyed and absolutely vaporized Nadia, then Paxton's mission, which he's suffered hard and really tried his best to save this woman, will be done. It's be completely undone. For which, let me go back one page. I just loved his reaction. She's gone, not even ashes. You know what I'm saying? He ain't got nothing to bury. You know what I'm saying? He, in my mind, he resolved himself that Nadia had to be taken out, but he didn't think it would be like that. You know, like I said, not even ashes. You know what I'm saying? So, and you get a little interaction. It's conversation in hallways type situation. The general and Tika try to console him. I mean, try to give him some kind of consolation, but then we get the big revelation that Nadia is not dead. She's still alive. Where? Again, another panel that I'm kind of proud of and happy with the way it turned out. You go out from the horizon off into the upper atmosphere, up into orbit, and a little bit past orbit. We see that Nadia is out. Now, she's not, the moon is in the background. She didn't get knocked over to the moon. That's a lot of distance to cover. Bella ain't that strong. She just knocked Nadia into high orbit. She bashed through a satellite and is just hanging out there in high orbit. Unconscious, just KO'd momentarily. Which again, I want to demonstrate that at her worst, or at her most desperate, Bella ain't to be messed around with. She got some kick to her. All right, she's a heavy hitter. So at that point, what do? She's alive. You figure she might come back, so they start making preparations. You know what I'm saying? All this, they're planning to evac. In case she comes back, get the wounded to the transports. We might still have to do some battling, whatever. And Bella's still regretting the loss of her father. And she's trying to come to terms with it, to her credit. She's like, all right, well, I'll help fight against Nadia when she comes back, whatever. But then we get the less than, I guess you could say, unexpected result that Vincent is not dead. He's actually still alive. Here is the question. How did he survive? He was clearly in the plane when it got struck, but yeah, he's here. And she's like, oh my God, Daddy, she's alive. He's alive. Blah, 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 whatever. And he's like, she said, how? Bella's question is how? Because as far as she knows, he's a dude. He's, he's a former police, back in Sicily and all that. But how did you survive getting shot out of a plane with not even a singe on you? She's too busy actually to put this together at the moment. And she's too overjoyed to see that her father is still alive to put it together, which she will later. Actually, not too long ago, I wrote that part of the story. It's in another story arc, but whatever. It's actually in the current story arc, which hasn't been illustrated yet. Anyway, so then you get the question, how did he survive? A question that Paxton would like to know too, but Keith, always being in the know, won't talk because he knows the answer as to how she survived. He just won't say it, because he and Vincent have a history that predates these people having met. But nobody knows that yet. That's for the future. So he's just like, oh, don't ask me. Back to the problem. How are we going to stop Nadia if she comes back? They have to resolve that. The general makes a decision that, since she's alive and I can feel that her mind is in torment, I'm going to go up there or try to reason with her or find out how to separate her from this machine that's basically taking over her consciousness and talk her down. And, he's basically agrees now with what Paxton said, that she is being controlled and needs to be helped. So I'll take care of it. I'll do the Professor X, go up there, enter her mind, and free her, liberate her, and then come back down. You know, Tika, who is his wife, second in command and also wife, is like, no, don't do it. Whatever. You never, had to do something this stressful before. He's like, nah, but I can't let her. I have to go up there and do it. As we've learned from the fourth issue, Tika and the general had a daughter who apparently got killed fighting El Chupacabra, believe it or not, before they came to help suppress Nadia, right? Which maybe not directly before, but at some point before they had a daughter that was killed in battle. She was part of the Golden Brigade. She lost her life, and they're still mourning her, right? And he's like, I sense that same uh, uh, fierceness and fighting spirit in Nadia. I can't let her die like homegirl died, their daughter. So he's gonna go and save her, and they're like, all right, cool, my man. So he goes off to do that. Then to make a long story short, we go. This is all takes place in Nadia's mind. She's in a cage. She's saying, "This is like hell on earth. This is hell. This is hell." That's all she can think of. And the general's like, "No, it's not hell. I came here to save you." And she's like, "Nah, man. They told me apart. They did this and that to me. It's over." And she's expressing her regrets that she couldn't fight off the alien machine presence in her mind. Tell Joey, which is Paxton, I tried to fight, but I couldn't do it. And he's like, "No, I won't let you. I won't let you down. I won't let you die." The general, he's in this dreamscape. He's the knight in shining armor that's coming to save her while she's tied up in a straitjacket, being restrained by the alien presence that's in her mind. Blah blah blah. Back to conversations in hallways down on Earth. They're guarding the general's body and basically said Paxton comes to the idea that something's weird here. You know what I'm saying? The general had previously, or the Tika had previously stated that the general had never attempted to meld with a mind that was so far away. And Paxton was like, well, if that's the case, how did he get the message that she was alive and that she was still fighting against his alien presence or whatever? How did he figure all that out if he had never, if what was going on was outside of his range? So the problem is it was a trap. The alien tech that took over Nadia knew, by whatever it means. I'm not going to get into it right now. But anyway, knew that the general had regrets over the loss of his daughter and knew that if that was the case, he would attempt to try to rescue her. So she baited him to come into this trap, enter into my mind, and then I'll take over your mind and wipe the rest of these cats out. Like I said, my mind is I'll be honest with you. It's conceptually it's dope to me anyway. But he baited her basically so that he'd fall into the trap, try to get into her mind. She'd take over his mind and then finish the job. So we go back and Nadia's saying, I let you down, whatever, it's too strong. It won't let me die. You know what I'm saying? And now she's taking over the general. General wakes up. No, he goes into spasms and such. You got to read it. It's pretty good. I mean, I wrote it, whatever. So he goes into psionic shock or whatever I call that. Wakes up and he got the same eyes that she does, them black weird eyes, and he goes to work. He starts putting everybody down with the mind wipe. Whatever, putting them all into a stupor, knocking them out, except for the Intrepid crew. Why? Because of, as stated in issue 5, Bella has psionic countermeasures, which we will find out are basically nanites that are in their bloodstream, populate to their brain, and basically act as a defense against outside psionic manipulation, telepathic manipulation. So they're immune to this brain beat down that the rest of them are getting. So they're the only ones left awake. And this general wakes up and he's about to get them all, put down the rest of them. Paxton just blasts them. He just punches them out, which is a logical thing to do. So now the general is knocked out, but the problem is Nadia is awake and she's coming. She's leaving high orbit, coming back down to finish off the rest of the survivors because she's whatever. All right, we'll get into that. But like I say, read this, man. This is tight. Anyway, so you got 4 people left. The whole of them could not defeat this woman. So it's like, what do we do? And Paxton's thing is, classic, Captain America hero type, whatever. We fight. We just do what we can. We got to stop her. Issue some orders. The bulk of it being, we'll draw her in close. Keith, you take a whack at her with Bam Bam, which is his mace. And then if we can get her on the ground, have at it. We just jump her and see what we can do. You know what I'm saying? It's an old school jump. She comes in, Vincent and Paxton. First of all, Bella erects a barrier of defense field that protects them from the sonic blast. Keith, this is another beautiful panel, tosses Bam Bam at her with all of his might. He said, "Do me proud, baby," which is just a beautiful picture. It's just Montos killed this. She gets hit and is knocked down to the ground, and then we get into another bit of a double page spread, which I really enjoyed. So it's just, at this point, it's just player to player, pimp to pimp. Keith and Nadia going at it, which we get in a double page spread, which reads from left to right, and then down. Somewhere there's some wrestling moves incorporated in here. A couple of shots here. She blocks one punch, kicks him in a good. No, it's not even a kick. Anyway, you read it. It's a choreographed fight. There's a choke slam that comes with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ninth panel is that choke slam. I want to put some WWE in there. But ultimately, Nadia gets the drop on him. The fight isn't over at that point. Last thing that happened is Nadia hits him in the face with an optic blast, which showing you how tough Keith is. It doesn't kill him, but he's blinded temporarily. And she's coming in for the kill. He kicks her off. And before she can jump back on him, Vincent hits him with blast. He basically buffaloes and shoots her in the back, which doesn't kill her, again, showing how tough she is. And Bella puts her in another pressure cell. Now, here's where we, again, the moral debate as to what to do with her. Paxton is like, go ahead and finish the job. Squeeze her until she breaks. He's telling this to Bella, and, Bella now can't do it. Which goes again to show that when she struck Nadia in the first panel, or the second panel, it was out of rage. Now, when she has the drop on Nadia and can basically compress this cell until she pops like a zit, she can't do it. Because she's not a killer. Annabella is not a killer in any sense of the word. And as she's stuck in this dilemma, let's see. Yeah, she's stuck in this dilemma. Nadia strikes with a telepathic blow, which hits Paxton, which actually hits the general and Paxton. And they both start speaking, no, the general goes back to that alien speak, which nobody can understand, which Paxton basically translates, which lets you know that the general was saying, "Stop me." Because at first he was speaking that same alien babble that Nadia was speaking, which nobody could decipher. But now we're seeing that it's actually alien speak for something that could be understood if you could translate it. So he's basically, she was telling him the whole time, some version of stop me or telling them how to stop her from doing whatever it is she was doing. At this point, Bella's thinking, Vince is like, yo, you gotta. Vince is telling Bella, you gotta finish her off. Bella's just about to do it when Paxton calls her off. He starts again speaking that alien speak, which Vincent thinks that he's gone mad too and is about to eliminate him, eliminate Paxton. But then Keith calls her off. Keith calls Vincent off before he can blow him away and tells him basically, then Paxton can explain that this whole time when Nadia was fighting, she was trying to tell them that, yeah, I'm being controlled by whatever, but it's basically a program. And this is how you shut the program down. Going forward, at a time not too far from this chapter, we'll understand why only Paxton could have told her this. Because if anybody else had said what he did, it wouldn't have worked. And basically, she had to hear this from someone who she, or the program, or however. See, I wrote myself into a corner here, and I was trying to express things that would. I should have took a more straightforward approach to this. I was trying to convey thoughts that were a little bit too ahead of what I was writing. But the point of the matter is, Nadia was Paxton's lieutenant when they worked together in Guardian. Therefore, she and the alien symbiote or whatever you want to call it recognize him as a user, as a authority. Therefore, she had to hear this from a controller, basically. So when he issues this order, which is ultimately to, let me see. Oh, this isn't the updated version, but anyway, basically it's a stop and desist order. When he gives that order, she shuts down, or it shuts down, and just stops, and she reclaims the usage of her faculties or whatever, and it shuts down. And ultimately, that's the end of this issue. They saved themselves most. They saved her and saved themselves, but as you see, a whole lot of people paid the price for it. Like I say, it's not a perfect ending, and it's maybe more contrived than I wanted it to be, which is why I say there's both regret and pride in this issue. But it brings the battle to an end over two issues. And like I say, I am proud of the work, and I'm proud of the work that Monto's put into it. And JP Mavenga, I got to give you props also for doing some spot on work on some panels in this issue, and Ron Richardson for the lettering, and everybody that helped me, Dave, Al, whatever. But ultimately, I kind of let the issue down, and that it wasn't as clear as I wanted it to be. But whatever, I like it. I like it. I prefer to stick the landing. You know what I mean? I think we stuck the landing on the end of Pandora's Cage better. Although it's not your typical ending, but it's not your typical story either. But this one, it's the same thing. It's not your typical superhero story, so you don't get your typical ending. This is the first half of a two-story arc, so you weren't going to get a clean-cut ending. And also, the true ending of this arc comes in issue 7. Once everyone's been captured and taken to interrogation, and you have to resolve the arc itself. So I've babbled on all this time just to say that some bits were missed. It wasn't the great, ending or near ending that I wanted, but I still think it was pretty good. and I like it. You gotta have some regrets, as George Sherman said. So anyway, that's the end of this commentary. And next will be 7, which I can't remember the name of the arc. Let me see. It should be on here, right? No, it just says the end. See, initially I thought this was going to be the end uh, of the heroes and villains arc. So there was no name for the next issue. But it turns out that it's not the end of the heroes and villain arc. So I have to remember what the next issue. Oh, the next issue is not Life Goes On. It's The Powers That Be. Yeah, issue 7, The Powers That Be ends Heroes and Villains, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, until then, I hope you enjoyed my ramblings. But that's what this is all about. It's a creator commentary, so it's not scripted or anything like that. It's just me going on about the work. So I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, stay loose.